Alrighty, guys. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let me see. Annika, it's not letting me screen share. Okay, let's see. Alrighty. Alrighty, guys. So tonight we're going to talk about systematic client support and integration. So this is a huge part of being a coach, right? So we want to make sure not only are we bringing clients in, but we're supporting them well. So there we go. So some things that we really want to make sure you're doing is making sure you're hopping on the trainings, right? We are the CEO of our own business. So if you're not getting on the trainings, you're not in your own meetings, right? So here, some of these trainings are Monday nights. So Monday nights are super important because Dr. A goes over all of the stuff like that's going on in the company currently. They talk about like new promotions, like upcoming trainings, all the good stuff's happening on that call. And then the expanding vision and increasing skills is usually field led. So the best of the best are getting on and presenting and talking about certain things. And we want to make sure you're getting on the Fraser team call. That's a really important call because it is Jamil's call, and he really goes over all of the cool trainings that they lead. So if you're getting on those trainings, then you're probably learning a lot. And then Wednesday, we have our Habits of Health call. And I would encourage you to encourage your clients to hop on those calls. That really helps them get all the information they need. If they're not in the life book, that's going to help them integrate without reading the life book, because some people are busy. So at least if they can hop on those Wednesday night calls, they're getting more. And then Sunday, obviously, our Transformation Tribe Huddle. So this is a super important call as well because we're always learning new things in this training. And we're also talking about all the important upcoming events as most of the other calls. So make sure you have these as rocks in your schedule because they are reoccurring and something that you should be doing. Let's see. Okay, so the first thing that we should definitely be using, make sure, okay, there you go, sorry guys. Okay, so the first thing that we should definitely be using is our client support binder. So this binder is where you should be keeping your health assessments. So they have 3 different folders. You have your active clients, your not yets, and then your clients that have pretty much been on for more than 3 months. And this just helps everything stay organized. So that way you can go through your not yets and follow up on follow-up Fridays and, go back to your health assessments. So, and if you are able to print out this client checklist because it is so useful, you can definitely make sure you're doing everything you need to start your client off well. And it breaks it down so it's so much easier and you don't have to remember everything in your head, right? Like it's all laid out for you. And then the other thing that we definitely want to make sure you're using is our health assessment. This is super important, guys. If you're not filling out your health assessment, you really have nothing to go off of later. So we want you to make sure that you're going back to your health assessment. If you have a client that's struggling or, kind of getting out of their goals or, they've lost sight of their goals, this is where you can go back on the health assessment and really ask them, is this something that you still want? What you told me that you want to be more active with your kids, is this a goal that you still have, or have these goals changed? Because that'll kind of bring it back for them, right? We want to make sure that we're stepping with them. So when they take a step, we step with them. If they're not taking a step, we don't step with them. I'm sure you've heard Jamil or Annika say that very often. It's all about what they want. So with the health assessment, you're not having to remember these things months down the road. It's all on that health assessment that you initially wrote down. And it kind of gets you, when you use the health assessment, everything's right there in order. So it's a much easier route, like unless you're doing it out of your head. I don't know how you remember all of those things. So definitely utilize the health assessment. We want to make sure also that you're starting your clients off strong. So when you do go to, sign up a client, make sure that you're always placing the first order. This is super important because clients will take the books out of their cart because they think they don't need them. And that's something that we definitely want to make sure that they have, is the Habits of Health system. That's going to be essential for their journey. And we always want to start them with the Optimal Essential Kit. A lot, like I know when I first started, I was editing kits and going all kinds of crazy things, and it's just not a valuable use of our time. They make the Essential Kit directly for new clients. It has a variety of things in it. It's good to go for them. Unless they have an allergy, I would just leave it as is. And then also make sure you're adding them to the client support page. So that is the Living Your Best Life on Facebook, and introduce them as a new client. This is super important because it really gets them integrated into the community. People are welcoming them and sharing the love, and it really makes them feel good. We normally want to make sure you have a picture of them, or and also kind of tell them about what is Living Your Best Life. So a lot of the times you'll see, this is your client support group. Like, you can look under the announcements, like make sure you put that in there so they're not like, why are they introducing, like, I don't know what this is. And then also make sure you're sending out the first text messages from your daily client support text. That kind of gives them, the information on what they need to get before they start their journey. So like the scale, a measuring tape, those kinds of things. It's really important that they have that information. And then also send out the new client welcome email. That is a super important part in their journey because they can refer back to that. The link for Optavia is in there. They'll know how to sign into their Optavia account. So definitely make sure you're sending out that new client welcome email. And in the first week, we definitely want to make sure we're scheduling a journey kickoff call the night before they start. And there's also a journey kickoff call text, or kickoff text. So that has a video. I found the video and I attached it to my kickoff text. I'm not sure if it was already included or not, but it really talks about everything that they're going to need to start the next day. So super important. And in that journey kickoff call, we just want to make sure that we get them on the right foot for the day. So making sure that they know when to have their fuelings, how often do they need to eat, when do they have their first fueling in the morning. I kind of go over their schedule with them, which is super useful because then they're not so lost the next day. I find out when they wake up, and then I'm like, okay, let's have your first fueling at 6 a.m., your next one at 9. And obviously, like, I go from there, and they can always edit that schedule, but it just gives them something to kind of go off of. And then make sure we're sending out the text messages for the first 8 days. Super important to keep them going. The first week is always the hardest. And when they have that daily reminder in the morning, I feel like they're more apt to keep going. And then checking in with them the first 4 nights, that's super important. We always want to inspect what we expect. So if they are not eating their lean and green right for the first 4 nights and we don't know about it, then, they're totally starting off on the wrong foot and might not be getting into fat burn like we want them to. So definitely check in with them. I mean, we are not food cops. I mean, for the first week, we really want to inspect what they're eating and how they're eating it. But after that, after the first week, that's something that we want to stray away from. So if we get it right the first week, then we're better off for the following. And then we schedule a 1-week celebration call with our mentor. This is awesome because then our mentor really gets to, love on them and kind of bring them into the whole Optavia family. Also, people will definitely say a lot more with your coach than they will with you, which is shocking because you're right there, right? And I'm always surprised like at what I'm going to hear when we get on these celebration calls, and I'm like, I didn't know that. So it's really good. And then our mentor can kind of go over why they're doing that and why we shouldn't, or, those kinds of things. So the 1 week celebration call is super important. And then after that, so how we integrate our clients is we want to guide them to their welcome email. That gives them all the information they'll need to get into Optavia, how to get into it. It has tons of useful information. It also has the ebook, which they can start reading right away. They do not have to wait for their kit to come. They can start reading that Stop Challenge Choose, which is really important, especially in the first week. And they can use their guides and their nutrition support. We don't want to be the hero cop, the hero coach. I don't know why I'm thinking cop. We don't want to be giving them all the answers. If we can send them to nutrition support or tell them, hey, I think it's in your guide. Why don't, let me know if you find it. That way they're not asking you every little question, because that definitely will happen if you let it. So definitely send them to their guides, their nutrition support, the life book, whatever they need to find that answer. Also in the life book, like if people are asking about exercise or these kinds of things, there's chapters and elements for those things specifically. So if you know the life book well, then you're going to be able to support your clients well. Dr. A's Habits of Health 2.0 book as well. That has so much information about, food and just their habits in general. So send them there if they can't find it in the life book. And also encouraging your clients to post is really going to be beneficial for them. That's how we start finding out, our coach prospects, right? Because if they're really integrated, they're going to make amazing coaches. So once they start posting and are active in the client sites and on Living Your Best Life, you see them in there helping other clients, that means like, look, they're probably going to be an amazing coach. I had a coach who I knew was going to be a coach, even though she didn't. And she was one of those that would actually be helping other clients. And I'm like, you need a coach. So always be on the lookout for those clients that are doing that. Also encourage them to join those client support calls. And even I know we have another trilogy call coming up soon. And that's something we want to invite our clients to, or potential clients. And because that's showing them what coaching is all about. So if they're getting on the Wednesday night calls, they're more likely to become a coach as well. And on the celebration call, we kind of want to go with Zoom because it's more personal, and they could really meet our coach that way. I mean, if they're just on a 3-way call, they're less likely to be paying attention. You can't really read their body language or what they're thinking. And then if there's any events, try to invite your clients to them. That's just, they're going to be more integrated into the community that way. And then after the first week, we have celebration calls with our mentor. So make sure you're following the REAM outline, and we'll kind of go over what that is in just a second. But weekly check-in calls with clients, make sure it's short, because we are showing them what coaching is all about. If we're on the phone for hours with them, they're going to be less likely to coach because it takes up a lot of time. So we really just need to be checking in with them for about 5 minutes. Again, we're not food cops. This call is really to go over the life book. We want to make sure that they are getting into that life book. We'll go over the element with them. What did they learn from that element? And how are they going to kind of put that into their life? And then with the Habits of Health 2.0, we want to make sure that they're on the Facebook page, Wednesday night calls, all of that, which we pretty much went over. And then make sure you're just planting and dripping coaching often. Even if it's not referring to them as a coach directly, just be like, oh, this is why I love coaching, because, it doesn't take up a lot of my time. Even saying things like that, they're going to pick up on it. You know, my coach Meryl was really talking to me about coaching at first, and I wasn't having it at first, but she kept doing it, right? And after a week, which was only a week, I became a coach. So definitely just keep talking about the great things of coaching. And again, invite to events. The coaching guide that we have is so great because it really talks about each element in depth. And it's so much easier. So when we're going over our weekly calls with our clients and we figure out which element they're on, this is where we'll go to our coaching guide and be like, and it has the questions that you want to ask them right there laid out for you. What did you learn from this element? What are you taking away from this element? So many good things in there, and it kind of takes the work out of it for you, right? Like, this is a duplicatable system. We're not reinventing the wheel. They've laid it out for us. So definitely be using this coaching guide when we're going over our client support calls. And then if you have a struggling client, you know, in the first week, it's so hard. Our mentor is going to be there to help them. And I almost feel like even if our mentor doesn't know exactly what to do to help them, even just having a third person involved, it feels like more support for them, right? So definitely get them on the phone and on a Zoom with your coach, even if it's not a celebration call. You know, I had one where at a week, it should have been a celebration call, but it was actually more of like a struggling client call. And it really helped her kind of get back, like, okay, this is what we need to do from here on and readjust. So those are super important. And it kind of reawakens them. You know, when you have that extra support from your mentor, it almost feels like you're going to like the principal. Instead of the teacher, you're going to the principal, you know, and that's kind of what, you know, for them, it feels like they have that extra, like, oh, this is my coach and she's probably going to know what to do to help you. So make sure you're always edifying your coach. We want to be introducing them. We want to introduce your client to them. Kind of let them know, like, oh, this is my coach. We've known each other for this long, whatever. Like, even introducing your client that way. So, you know, where did you meet this client at? Or how do you know each other? You know, your coach kind of wants to know that when they're getting on the phone. And obviously layer and invite to become a coach. You know, you never know who wants to be a coach. I had someone totally surprise me, texted me out of the blue as a client, what I would have never asked her to become a coach. And she said, I want to become a coach. So always be asking and inviting your clients, even if you're not sure. And with the REAM, so REAM is, we want to remind. So 1 hour before, always, like, if you have a celebration call with your coach or any calls with your coach or whatever, make sure you're reminding both your client and your mentor 1 hour before. This just kind of makes sure that everyone's still getting on that call and it doesn't waste anyone's time. You know, our time is all precious and we have a lot of things that we're doing. So make sure you're reminding. And then be on early. So if you're on early, you can always work out tech issues. If you're getting on at 7:59 and Zoom's not working or you need a password, then we're struggling and then we're like, So if you're on early, you're ready to go. And that way your coach can hop on too early, because they probably want, okay, how do you know this person? Like, just give them that opportunity to hop on early as well, so they're prepared. For edifying, we want to make sure, again, that you're introducing your coach, you're introducing your client, give them a little background. It kind of breaks the ice. So, because they probably feel awkward meeting this stranger, right? They don't know your coach, and vice versa. And then mute yourself. So when you mute yourself, make sure you're present and active and not doing a bunch of other things, because then it's distracting. So make sure you're present, even though you're not being heard or anything. So that's what the REAM courtesy is. Super important for new coaches, because a lot of new coaches don't know this information. And at first it takes maybe a few times to kind of work this out. So definitely start with that. And then on the client celebration call, this is kind of something that we want to make sure we're asking. So if we have a client that is willing and able to post on their own personal Facebook or even in the client support page, that still helps us regardless, and it celebrates them. So here's some verbiage that you can use. So I know I send this out after I ask on the celebration call, hey, are you open to posting? And they say yes. Well, this is what I'm going to send them via text. So it says, so proud of you. Hey, since you're rocking your program so well, would you mind doing me and yourself a favor? I would love for you to post your success on Facebook. This way we can really see who your support system is and create a healthy community around you. Let's have people love on you. And there may be some people who want to come with you. If you're up to it, would you mind posting the below on your private Facebook page? And don't worry, I can take all of the responses. So the little text at the bottom is what they can post themselves, and they can always edit it a little bit to kind of go with them. But we really want to make sure that we're not exposing Optavia in a bad way. We want to make sure that we kind of monitor that post and really just let everybody know, hey, I private messaged you. You know, and sometimes our clients don't know this and they instantly start posting about Optavia all over Facebook. So we definitely want to make sure we're monitoring that. So, and then also once they start seeing, I know I told a coach once, I was like, look how many health assessments I booked just off of your post. I was like, well, I can either send you a referral credit of $25 or you can start coaching. And you're going to be making about 60 to 70 off each client. So, and I know she started the next day after that because I think I got almost 4 health assessments off of her personal Facebook posts that she posted tagging me. And I think that really inspired her to start coaching herself. And then, so I did add a few things down here that Annika had sent me. These are from the Client Blitz. And if you did not see that training, it was amazing. Rachel presented, and it really was talking about, you know, obviously superior client support, and she had so many good things about it. One of the things that they were talking about is if they're in the life book, really it's going to be like pages versus pounds. So the more they're in the life book, the more likely they're going to keep those pounds off and also, you know, lose the pounds because they're going to be more focused on their goal. If they're not in the life book, more than likely, you know, they're going to struggle. So make sure that they're in the life book. That was one of the things I really learned from that training. And then let them know, like on the last slide, you know, coaching versus referrals. So there's 2 ways to pay it forward. You know, you can either coach or you can give me referrals, but one way is going to benefit you more and more deep fulfillment when you're coaching, right? I mean, it's kind of filling a void that, I don't know, some people have. You know, we're helping others, and people are going to notice your clients. So definitely let them know, like, we want you to be loved on and shared, you know, your success. So when they post, let them know that you're going to be there every step of the way to monitor that post and help them out so they're not alone. But if you guys have any questions, there are the coach guide right here. We have the new client checklist. So that was the one that I said that you really should print out and keep track of, because it has all of the steps that you need to take after you sign a new client. The REAM outline, kind of steps on what you need to do with that process. And then the client celebration outline. That one's great because when you first start doing client celebration calls, I remember asking my coach, what are you reading off of? Because like, I don't know, like, what are you like, where are you getting this information from? So we always have a form or something that we're working on. So definitely check all of these out and these trainings as well if you really want to kind of enhance your client support. But that is really all I have for you guys. If you have any questions, I think we can ask them in the chat or open it up.
This is so perfect. Shanna, you did so amazing, girl. So she's right. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. But I really want to take this opportunity to kind of share with you guys, if you found this helpful tonight, we have an amazing client support blitz training that's coming up here. So next Monday, not this Monday, but next Monday, June 15th, 16th, and 17th, we have a client support blitz training. And this is going to be at 6 p.m. It will take precedence over the Fraser team training right after the team leadership training at 5:30. So make sure to be present for that. And then also for those of you that are executive director or above last month, make sure to put this as a rock in your calendar as well. So this starts tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is only for executive directors and above, and we're showing you how to really move your business to FIBC and really support you guys strong. So we'll stop sharing here and see if there's any questions in the group. Girl, you covered it all. Everybody just said right then and there, you did amazing. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night, starting at 5 o'clock with Dr. A and moving it forward. And we'll share this recording. Thanks so much, guys. Have an amazing night.